Envision Literacy program is one that promotes literacy development through the physical environment of my classroom, the materials I use to scaffold literacy learning, and the types of instructions employed to support various models of teaching and learning, including behaviorism, cognition, constructivism, and socio-constructivism. Additionally, I will consider the ways in which I will meet diversity in my classroom, including cognitive, linguistic, social, and cultural diversity, as well as motivation. My desired classroom is one that is cozy enough for students to feel at home, safe, and most of all, a fun place where creations are made and learning is achieved. Materials used to scaffold literacy are modeling with think out louds, breaking a topic into parts, providing visual models, activating prior knowledge, connecting to students' interest, using hands-on activities and manipulatives, providing analogies, metaphors, offering verbal cues and guiding questions, using graphic organizers, showing examples, pre-teaching vocabulary, asking follow-up questions, using stories, creating opportunities for students to conversate and discuss, providing context, and offering sentence steps. Types of instructions I will employ to support various of teaching and learning, including behaviorism, cognition, constructivism, and socio-constructivism. Behaviorism is a learning theory that revolves around operant conditioning. Many teachers use programs of rewards and punishment to reinforce specific behaviors as a method of classroom management. Some activities we will use as a class is students will create their own classroom rules as I write them on the overhead projector. I will then post them on a poster to place them on the classroom wall. Positive reinforcement such as praise and direct consequences will be used with clipboard charts. During reading workshops, I will monitor classroom voice levels through a classroom brighten up area. Students will be able to know what voice level to use depending on the activity. Cognition is the mental action or process of acquiring knowledge and understanding through thought, experience, and the senses. Cognitive learning relies on 5 principles: remembering, understanding, applying, evaluating, creating. Some activities for remembering: students will be able to write a paragraph on previous reading text that has been read as a class. Students will be also able to recite poetry or important writing. Activities for understanding: after reading an article or short story, students will write a brief summary of what they read. Applying: some activities will be students will identify the main characters of a story. Evaluating: students will list the procedures of making a meal on a recipe book. And creating: students will be able to invent their own stories. Constructivism is an educational philosophy that became popular in the early 1900s. The basic framework of constructivism is that students create their own learning. That is, we can't teach students to learn, they have to learn for themselves. After students have read a story, instead of asking them comprehension questions, I will have students create the questions themselves. I divide students into groups and challenge them to come up with a higher level critical thinking questions instead of the questions that are spelled out easily in the text. Socio-constructivism is a sociological theory of knowledge according to which human development is socially situated and knowledge is constructed through interactions with others. Activities: students will work on book clubs and create a small presentation on the book they read. Another activity: students will choose a current article and share their findings in small groups. Cognitive diversity is the inclusion of people who have different styles of problem solving and can offer unique perspectives because they think differently. Unlike demographic diversity, which focuses on achieving a mixture of statistical characteristics such as gender or age, cognitive diversity focuses on achieving a mixture of how people carry out intellectual activities such as making associations or drawing conclusions. Activities that will create lessons based on students' background knowledge, fundamental knowledge, and interests. For example, writing a poem on what they like, such as hobbies or family activities. linguistic diversity. As a part of a culture, language helps people stick together and do things that they could not have done as individuals. Linguistic diversity is a way to talk about varied types of traits, including language, family, grammar, and vocabulary. An activity as a class will create a word wall that students can refer back to when using them in activities and dictionaries when necessary. Social and cultural diversity is the quality of diverse or different cultures as opposed to monoculture, the global monoculture, or a homogenization of cultures, akin to cultural decay. The phrase cultural diversity can also refer to having different cultures respect each other's differences. Activities: students will have a designated place in the room to put their family pictures and hobbies and activities. Addressing the world of assessment and informing the decisions I make about my environment and instructional practices so that I can best meet the needs of my students. It's simple. It's through pre-assessment, summative assessment, and formative assessment. Pre-assessment is the previewing students' understanding of a lesson by asking questions to activate prior knowledge. Formative assessment is throughout the lesson, ensuring that students are using graphic organizers, learning from each other, and are engaged. Summative assessment is at the end of a unit to assess students' learning. It could be done through testing or performance. This concludes my presentation. Thank you for watching.